Hello everyone. As I told you in my last video, Venus is going to move into Libra, and as soon as it does, it will be aligned with the Super Galactic Centre. And this is going to be a teaching video, so if you want to learn astrology and you want to open up your knowledge with fixed stars, this is what you should actually pay attention to, because I'm going to show you a couple of things that are really important. So here's the space-time moment at noon. This is the noon chart for London on November the 7th. And as you can see, the Venus just barely moved into Libra. It is exactly conjunct Urania, the muse for astrology and astronomy, and with the Super Galactic Centre. And it is making a quincunx with Saturn at the very end, very beginning of Pisces. It just turned around 2 days ago, and it's still very, very, very slow. So this is an exact quincunx, by the way, almost to the minute at noon, London. And Venus-Saturn aspects, according to Judy Hall, mean inherent unlovableness. It simply means that if you have any type of Saturn-Venus aspect, it denotes that you feel that you are not lovable enough, or no one will love you for what you really are, or you can't express your harmony and relationship creating abilities because you are frozen inside. So this is what usually occurs. And when you find love, it's usually much more serious than for those who don't have a Saturn-Venus aspect. And this is a quincunx, so we can be sure that this could be quite painful. But this quincunx is part of an engine. It's a mutable air engine. Why is it a mutable air engine? Because the square portion of the engine is in mutable signs, in Pisces and Gemini, and the trine is in air signs, Libra and Gemini. So, and engines are really powerful structures. They are really powerful configurations because they make you move, they make you carry burdens, and in this case, you can actually use the mutable square as change, and the air trine as some sort of knowledge or reasoning or cerebral input. Why do I need to change? So you can actually change anything around Venus, your money-making capacities, your love life, your harmony creating capacities, whatever you want, whatever is lacking in your life, in a way that you find a base, and then you actually look at your life and take away those bits and pieces that are non-working or non-functioning, and try to create something new. If we take a look at the transcendental objects, further transcendental objects, the moon, I included the moon because something very important happens the next day. But at this moment at noon, the moon is making a tridecile with Sedna, and the tridecile is among the so-called Keplerian aspects. Johannes Kepler created the quintile series, which is 1/5 of the circle, and the tridecile is 3 times the decile, which is 36 degrees, and it denotes abilities and talents that manifest in altered states of consciousness. So and the moon is illuminating it anyway. So actually you can at this particular moment, you can utilize the power of the moon, the insight of the moon, the illuminatory powers of the moon in order to make all these changes. And on Sedna, you have more Somnus, which has been there and will be there quite still with Sedna, and the Pleiades, which again will be there for another 2 years at least. We talked about this. More Somnus is very, very prominent during the pandemic. And if you paid attention to what is happening in Europe, our dear leader, Ursula von der Leyen, has just signed another contract with another pharmaceutical company for another dose of the poison that they are trying to give us. And well, that's it. Here's the Super Galactic Center. So as I said, the Venus, as it moved into Libra, got aligned with the Super Galactic Center. Here it is. This is the source, of course, is Wikipedia. And what is the Super Galactic Center? It is one of the key celestial areas in karmic astrology. And these key celestial areas are super massive black holes. They are usually the center for superclusters. And this particular one is really huge. And in karmic astrology, all these represent some sort of karmic dilemmas. And the supergalactic center's karmic dilemma is nothing is ever enough. And with Venus there, it simply shows that you can't earn enough money, you can't have enough love, you can't have enough properties at your disposal. And despite the fact that Saturn is at this particular space-time moment is making a quincunx, so kind of effectively guarding this whole idea. But with Venus there, believe me, there are no limits. And a day later, this is one reason why I wanted to do this video, because actually Venus is at the Supergalactic Center every 8 months. So it's not something that is rare or unheard of. But what happens here, almost exactly a day later, about minus half an hour, a day and minus half an hour later, the moon will be exactly conjunct Venus and joining this engine, this mutable air engine. And at the exact space-time moment, which is at 10:23 London time, we have some brilliant stars on the ascendant descendant. On the ascendant, which is also Saturn and Ophius are rising. Ophius, which is again not a centaur, sorry, an asteroid linked to the underworld, and Phaethon, which is the disaster, one of the disaster asteroids. And Ras Alhagu is actually the alpha star of Ophiuchus, the Serpentarius, that's another name for it. So the serpent holder. And the whole constellation, Serpentarius or Ophiuchus, is about healing. If you take a look at how they how they depicted this constellation, it's a figure, it's usually Asclepius, who is holding in one hand the serpent head and the other hand the serpent tail, and Ras Alhagu is the head. And the fact that the big portion of the snake is hidden behind his back indicates that there's something going on which we don't know yet. There are certain remedies which used to be there, but we no longer are able to utilize this knowledge. So it's a lost knowledge. But with the head, we are moving towards allopathic remedies and all kinds of remedies that science can produce us. So that's one of the healing energies, healing worlds in transcendental karmic astrology. And the descendant is really interesting because you have 5 bright stars that are actually aligned. And here's why we should never use conjunct, and we should instead use aligned. And this is something that Bernadette Brady suggested in 2005 already. And I'm going to show you why it doesn't really make any sense. You have 5 really bright stars. Almost all of them are either alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Well, the 4 or 5 most prominent stars, alpha, beta, gamma, and delta are the first 4. And as you can see, they are all around 22, 23 degrees. Well, Bellatrix is a little bit out of orb if you take a look. But actually, in this chart, this particular chart, the descendant's degree is exactly where you can have both sides of the orb, and this is exactly what we do. So when I say that fixed stars have a 1 degree orb, yeah, you should see it both sides of any celestial objects. And as you can see, these are widely different positions in the night sky. So just because a star is at a certain astrological degree. Doesn't mean that anything can be near it on the zodiac. Okay, because these stars may not be on the zodiac, and actually Vacht, for instance, cannot even be seen on the northern hemisphere. The rest could, but for instance, Capella cannot be seen from Australia. Okay, so these are the stars that, and this is one of the 21, 22, 23 degrees of Gemini is the most star-studded position, because really we have even sometimes more. I mean, if you widen the orb at 23 degrees, you have a couple of more, but this is really a star-studded position on the zodiac. But as you can see, besides L naught, nothing is really on the zodiac. Okay, so on the ecliptic, L naught is Beta Taurus, so it is a zodiacal constellation. The rest isn't. Auriga is a northern constellation. Mintaka is on the celestial equator, and Vacht is a southern constellation. So that is why in astrology we should never use conjunct unless it is really conjunct, and at least something is really conjunct. So that's it for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please like my videos. Please subscribe. When I do a Hungarian teaching video, I always produce it in English as well. But with my more philosophical stuff, I usually do it only in Hungarian. But you can still utilize the goodies of karmic astrology. And thank you for listening. Bye-bye.